If you're a newer content creator and you're trying to show up on camera and it just doesn't feel right, that's normal. Most people who struggle on camera go through the same problem. You start out trying to wing it and it comes out all scattered. So you write a script and then you freeze trying to remember it. Then someone tells you that you should buy a teleprompter. So you get a teleprompter. You record yourself, you play it, and now you sound like a robot reading a script. Now you're really worse off than when you started. Hey, I'm Dee Dee, and that was me. I did all of these things, and it was an editing nightmare. And if you're somewhere in this mix, whether you're thinking about buying a teleprompter, you just got one, or maybe you've had one for a while and just still don't love the way you look on camera, then this video is going to help you. And if you're over 40 and you feel like being on camera is just not natural and it's something that comes easier to young people, well, I want to tell you that age has nothing to do with it. It is a skill. You learn it. And the teleprompter, when it's used right, it's really one of the best tools for getting there faster than you think. What I'm going to walk you through today is not how to use a teleprompter as a piece of equipment. I already got a video on that and I'll link it up here somewhere above. This is about how to look natural on camera while using one. How to stop looking like you're reading and how to have real energy in your videos and how you actually feel like yourself when you hit the record button. Most people think the teleprompter is what's making them look unnatural, but it's not. The teleprompter is just revealing a problem that was already there. They just can't see it because they're too focused on remembering what to say. And here's what's actually happening when you have a teleprompter. When you read something, anything, your brain switches into a different mode. It goes from talking to processing. And that looks different on camera than talking does. Your eyes move differently, your rhythm changes, your facial expressions flatten out because your brain is busy processing words instead of feeling what the words have to say. The goal isn't to pretend that you're not reading. The goal is to get so comfortable with what you're reading and what you're saying that your brain can stop processing and start feeling again. That's when you look natural. That's when it looks like you're just talking. You're just winging it. And speaking of looking, let's talk about your eye contact and where to actually look. This is the first thing that people notice when a teleprompter is not used the right way. It's your eyes. Either they're darting back and forth or they're locked in this glassy, unfocused stare, and they just kind of keep drifting down, down, down. And any of these things immediately tells the viewer that you're reading from a teleprompter. The first thing you can do is have your teleprompter as far away as you can get it from yourself and still be in good frame, this away on your video. Mine is about 2 arms length away because the further away it is, the less it looks like you're reading. The second thing is your font size. The bigger the text is, that lets your eyes stay relaxed and stop scanning. If you're working hard to read your own script, that means your text is too small. Bump it up until it feels effortless while you're reading. You can always speed up the scroll, even in the middle of your video. Just make sure you're not waiting on the words to come on the screen because then your eyes are going to start dipping. So that brings us to number 3, your scroll speed. If your text is moving faster than you can actually talk and keep up with it, it's going to show. And if it's moving slower, you're going to pause awkwardly waiting for the next line. Dial in your scroll speed to slightly slower than you think you need because you're going to naturally fill that space better than you think you will. And it'll also give you time to think a little bit. I have the Elgato and I keep my scroll speed between 49 and 51 most of the time. This also depends on the size of your horizontal margin, and I've got mine on about 49. The horizontal margin keeps my eyes looking toward the camera lens, not out to the sides out here. It keeps it focused in here. And I'm sorry for my blurry hands if they're blurring out there. And last, don't try to maintain contact without blinking. That is so obvious. And when you're having normal conversations with people, you don't stare directly at them. That would just be strange. You're allowed to blink and look away. This is not a news broadcast. It's actually more natural than staring straight into the lens for 4 minutes at a time without moving. So look away. This is what you would do in a normal conversation. This next one is a big one. Writing scripts that sound like you talk. And this one might really surprise you, but most teleprompter problems are not because of the delivery. They're because of the way you write your script. When people sit down to write a script, they automatically shift into writing mode, and writing mode produces writing, not talking. So your sentences, they get longer, words get more formal, and the rhythm gets structured in a way that it doesn't really sound the same when you say it out loud. And then when you get in front of the camera and try to perform written language, it sounds like written language. It doesn't sound like spoken language, and it never really lands the right way. It's really like you're reading a book. And even worse here, scripts that are written with AI are just not good. And I have been down that route. I thought it was going to be so much easier, but they really don't sound like me. They say stuff like, well, you're not broken, and here's the honest truth. And I could go on forever here. But the fix is to write the way you talk. And I mean, literally. If you use some slang and if you use euphemisms, use it. And before you type a single word, open a voice memo on your phone and just talk. Listen to yourself, ramble, be messy. That kind of hears the way you say things. And if you do it the other way around, this is how you'll write your script. If you will write your script, read it to yourself, and record it on a voice memo, listen to how it sounds. That's your script. Put it on paper. Put it in a Google Doc. A few specific things that you need to watch for when you're writing is you need to read every sentence out loud before you finalize it. If you stumble on it when you're reading it to yourself, you're going to stumble on it when you get on camera. So use shorter sentences and use contractions. They sound like a real person talking. Write in first person and use the word you a lot. And if a sentence sounds like something you're going to read in a newspaper article rather than in a conversation, rewrite it until it doesn't sound that way. And here's what I do. I form an idea in my head and I may come up with some storyline that I hope to get across. I then write it out on paper or in a Google Doc and I read it out loud. I then take it to Claude or ChatGPT and I ask it to tighten it up and rearrange it, because sometimes my point number 2 should really be point number 3, and I often repeat myself and overteach. I say specifically, don't change my words, only point out to me what I need adjusting, and then I decide if I want to take that advice or not. And once I've done this, I should know this script backward and forward because I've written it over and over. I have said it over and over. So when it comes time to record, it's already up here in my memory. And for me, the words on the teleprompter, they're just there for recognition. I can see just a few of the words and I remember what's coming and I already know what I'm going to say because I know what I'm talking about and I know my subject. And this can work for you too. And before I keep going, I just want to mention real quick, if you're working on your YouTube channel and you want a place to ask questions directly to me or our community, you can get feedback on your videos and thumbnails and be around other creators who are actually doing this work and they're making it happen. I've got a community called the Confident Creator Circle and we do all of that together. The link is in the description and it's free to join. Come check it out. The next thing you need to think about is pacing. How to slow down without feeling like you're slow. And here's the thing about pacing. What feels slow to you almost never feels slow to your audience. Well, unless you're like me and you're from the South and you talk like molasses, the pace that feels comfortable and normal to you while you're recording usually looks pretty rushed on camera, which means you need to deliberately slow it down a little bit past the point where it feels comfortable. But you can adjust this as you go along. But you also have to breathe on camera. And this sounds obvious, but I know that when people are nervous and they're rushing, they forget to breathe naturally and it shows in your video because you're trying to get the words out, you're running out of breath, and then you're like, So take a real breath before you start a new sentence. Let that silence exist because silence on camera it's not dead air the way it feels like it does when you're sitting there. It actually gives your words time to land with your viewer. It gives you time to think. And this becomes really important when we talk about body language and energy next. Okay, so here's what happens to most people when they turn on the teleprompter. They freeze. Their shoulders come up, their hands stop moving, their face flattens out, and they become very still and very tense. It happens because your brain is overloaded. It's reading, it's performing, it's monitoring the camera, it's thinking of all the things you want to say. Something's got to give, and what gives is your body. It goes into a standby mode while your brain is trying to handle everything else. It just like relaxes and shuts down. So the way to fix this is to get your body moving before your brain has a chance to freeze. Do a shakeout before you hit record. Literally, shake out your hands, roll your shoulders, take a deep breath and let it all out. Get loose. Get a little bit ridiculous if you have to because there's nobody watching, I hope. There may be somebody watching, the dog maybe. But then you hit record and your body still has some of its energy in it. And that's really good for the hook in the beginning, is to have some of that energy. So during the video, use your hands. You don't have to fake this or choreograph it. Just stop fighting the ones that come to you naturally. Because if you move your hands when you talk to someone in person, you should be moving your hands on camera. And people like to see your hands. It brings trust. I had a chair that had arms, like an office chair, and I had to quit using it because I found that I used those armrests and my hands never moved. I looked like Bernie from Weekend at Bernie's, like sitting there, never moving, like I was half dead. And watch what your face does. Specifically watch the expression on your face. Try not to go into that neutral expression. Try to smile and give some expression. Give more of you. Do a little bit more than you think is necessary. Smile a lot. So getting comfortable on a teleprompter, it really just takes practice. Not a lot, but it does take some. And the way you practice matters more than how long you practice. The worst thing you can do is just keep recording full videos and hoping you get better. That's just too much pressure, and it takes too long to get the feedback from it from yourself, because you've filmed a 20-minute video and you don't want to go back and do it again. So instead, practice in a few short sessions. Take a paragraph and just record it a few times in a row. Not 10 takes, trying to get it perfect. Just try something slightly different each time. Try it faster, try it slower. Try it with more energy. Try it more conversational. And after a few takes, you're going to find that after a couple of times, you kind of get in the hang of it. And you might find that you learn more in that 10 minutes than you learned in an hour of video recording. And I promise, if you do this a few times, you're going to look and feel completely different. The things that feel hard right now will feel automatic. And that's what you want. You want to feel automatic so that your brain has room to work through everything and actually talk to your audience and share the knowledge that you have, because you shouldn't be nervous. You know your information. So one more thing, watch your own footage. I know you don't like this, but pay attention to where your eyes go, where your hands are. Be curious. Nobody else's tips are going to be as useful as your own footage. Looking natural on camera or a teleprompter is a skill. And like every skill, it feels awkward before it feels easy. And if you're just starting out, give yourself some grace. You're not going to nail it the first week or maybe even the first month. But you will get there faster than you think if you follow what I talked you through today. If you tried a teleprompter before and hated it, try it again with some of these fixes. The problem was probably your script. Maybe it was your font size or the speed of your scroll. And all of these are fixable in just a few minutes. And if you want to go deeper on how I personally set up and use my teleprompter, I'll link that video here and you can watch it next. It's going to fill in all the gaps. And I'll see you on the next one. Bye.